And we're back, and it's back.
It is back.
It being fantasy hockey. Well, hockey, but more importantly, fantasy hockey.
Yeah, it's about time. The lockout is over. We're not going to talk about the lockout. Let's just get on to the season. Let's talk about some fantasy hockey. Kip Cooper here.
Buzz Birch here. That's right. Unsportsmanlike Conduct, giving you the fantasy updates for the NHL season. We're going to be your go-to
we're the go-to guys when it comes
to
pre-draft analysis.
Not only pre-draft analysis, weekly we'll be providing the updates, the weekly breakdown, who to pick, who not to pick, what waiver moves you need to make, and who needs to be on your bench.
If you need to listen to us, if you don't listen to us, you don't know what to do with your hockey fantasy team. You'll be out in the lurch. So
out in the lurch, you'll be outside looking in.
You have to listen to us. You don't want to be in the junk drawer of your league.
Exactly. Stay out of the junk drawer. So tune in with us. We'll be here. Let's start it off. I mean, last year finished Los Angeles Kings, the number 8 seed, coming on incredibly strong.
It's a staple in hockey. It happens sometimes, but really it's the players on the team. Does that carry over to this season?
That's a good question. We've had a lull, obviously. Lockout held us back for a while. A couple people going to be rusty. A couple people looking hot.
People going to different
overseas.
Teams. People going to different teams.
We're seeing Malkin tearing up some leagues in Russia.
Yeah.
A couple other guys looking good over there. Ovechkin too. So you know, what's the team to beat? You know, a lot of fantasy. When you're looking for your draft, a lot of it comes down to plus or minus. You get a lot of points for that, just being out on a good team. So what are some teams to target overall? You know, just in general. What's a winning team? You want to have some winners on your team.
The Vancouver Canucks have dealt with enough hardship. This season, I feel like the Sedins, they're not the Sedin sisters anymore. They're the
Sedin sisters.
They're the Sedin brothers. I feel like they have honed their skills. They're going to come back. They're going to be a force. And Kessler, he's never been better.
Yeah, certainly the Sedin sisters lead the Vancouver Canucks to, President's Trophy every year almost.
Roberto Luongo is ready. He's ready.
He's ready. He looks good. Another good team. Obviously, you have the same thing on the other side. The Rangers still looking strong. They made it to the Stanley Cup. They couldn't quite pull it off.
With a new addition, of course.
Rick Nash. He looks good. I feel good.
Finally, he's off of that junk team.
Finally, you know, it's just like equivalent to
like Ray Bork going to the Avalanche, for one season just to get a ring or hold the Stanley Cup for a day,
Good for him is really what I want to say. I wish him luck. Good for the Rangers.
Good luck, Nash.
Too, because that looks like a all around.
They're decent.
Pickup.
They're decent, and with a shortened schedule.
Yeah, that's the other thing, too, you got to keep in mind.
Anything's
48
possible.
games they have this year, so you got to keep that strategy in mind. And also goals and stats, realistically, you got to be thinking about them in a 48-game span.
Well, definitely stats are going to be down just overall the season,
It's an asterisk season. What can you do about it?
But at least they're playing.
At least they're playing.
Give
we
us
have
some
something to talk about.
Give us some
so
fantasy
let's start it off. Kip Cooper?
Yes.
I'm giving you Kips
Birch?
Ahoy. That's the team name here.
The Kips Ahoy.
That's right, Kip Cooper of the Kips
Going all the
Ahoy.
way.
You've got the #1 overall pick in this 2013 NHL Fantasy Draft. Who are you picking and why?
I have to go.
Drum roll.
This might be a little out of the box.
Let's see it. Let's hear it. Give it to us straight. Give it to the people.
Zdeno Chara.
Oh, no.
I'm telling you. You're flabbergasted?
Yeah. A defenseman, the first pick?
Everyone in any sort of business of hockey is going to tell you to always go offense with the first pick.
Yeah.
But Zdeno Chara has fresh legs. He's going to be out there more than any other player. He's going to have the best season of his career, even in the shortened span. I'm picking Zdeno Chara.
I guess you're liking the Bruins to go overall, and I know we did say how the plus minus does make a big impact. So being out there on a winning team is obviously important. He does have that. I think you're crazy for going with a defenseman.
I'm crazy.
But hey, I'm glad he's playing in my league. So that just works out for me.
Okay?
I get the overall pick. You know what? That's my term.
So who's
I'll take. You know what? Tell you what. I'll take the second overall pick because obviously you're wasting the first one. So
whatever.
So
yeah.
give me
laugh. But when Zdeno Chara is whooping everyone's ass, you'll be saying, "Oh, Kips Ahoy! How did you know?"
All right. Well, I'm gonna not pick.
What's your team name? Tell everyone your team name.
The Buzz Bombs.
The Buzz Bombs.
Head coach Buzz Birch. We're flying hard, flying over Kips Ahoy. And pretty easily.
Impress
apparently.
me. You have to impress me.
I'm pressing you. I'm going with an easy pick, of course. Steven Stamkos. I'm bypassing the normal number one for NHL.com, and most of the experts' rankings got Malkin, but no way. Give me Steven Stamkos. He's got the goals. The kid is going to be hot in this 48-game season.
I
don't care about the plus or minus.
He
is going to make it worth it. Every time he touches the puck, it's just excitement. And as a watcher, a fantasy watcher, that's the guy I want to watch. He's got the highlight goals.
He does have the highlight goals, and he will benefit from the shortened season, of course.
I think so, too.
But does he have the team to go far?
Well, they still got St. Louis. They need some help at goalie for sure. They need some help. They're not as complete as, say, Evgeny Malkin, who, he's playing on a line with some, I think, James Neal. Stay on the same line. I mean, they got basically as well as
he's gonna need to step it up. I mean,
they've got talent on someone like Pittsburgh.
But it's a very good
Crosby too. What do you think? I mean, is he gonna be healthy? Arguably, obviously, he's the most talented guy.
If I was, you might be thinking Zdeno Chara. You're crazy.
Yeah, I am still thinking that. But
Sidney Crosby, if he was absolutely right, no head trauma.
No head trauma. That's true. I mean,
no head trauma. He's number one without a doubt. But because he's got this head trauma issue, there's a big risk. You don't want to pick your number one guy and have him not play at all. I mean, I would pick him if
maybe if you were given the 10th pick and he was still there. 10th pick, still the first round.
Well, that's okay. So
I mean, I would pick. I'll tell you what. If he's, I'll pick him third.
I would pick him second round.
If Malkin and Stamkos are gone,
early second round, Sidney Crosby. If you're picking him top 5, it's such a big risk that
it is a risk because the payoff.
The payoff would be sweet, but
he's a game changer. He can change your week.
But if he does come back, then both him and Evgeny Malkin stats go down. So it's really a big difference if. You tell me who's playing. I
told you I'm picking, Stamkos anyway. That's my overall guy, but I'm going to take Sidney Crosby if I'm sitting 4th, 5th, no problem.
Well, yeah, but Malkin and Crosby, if they both play at the same time, both of their numbers are going to drop, especially Malkin. Because last season,
you're going obviously with the consistency here, with going with Chara or someone.
Well, I just think that if you want an overall good team, and you got to start with the back of your team. I would start with Chara. I would also look for Lundqvist very early in the first round.
So give me, what's your overall strategy going into your draft? This is a pre-draft analysis, so let's look at some draft strategy. You're talking obviously consistency and defensive mind.
I like wins. I think wins are big. I think when you have defensemen, you get a lot of penalty minutes, of course.
Of course, and I know we always play in a league with a lot of good points for penalty minutes. A lot of teams, on average, probably half a point for penalty minutes.
I absolutely love.
They're important,
and I think Chara is just going to get a bunch. I think guys like PK Subban are going to get a bunch of good penalty minutes.
Offensively, too, you have to watch for guys like Scott Hartnell.
Yeah, of course, Philadelphia, they're always in the mix when it comes to fighting.
I think Corey Perry as well for Anaheim.
Yeah.
Another one of those guys who does get some time in the penalty box. And, you got to keep in mind some of that stuff. It's not always about
Milan
the goals.
Milan Lucic, he might be a later, maybe later on in the draft, you might want to pick him. He's a very good offensive player that will also get you some good penalty minutes, but overall, I'm going back in. Now tell me Buzz Bombs.
Buzz Bombs, obviously, we're going for some
strategy?
Deep bombs. I think I disagree with your kind of defensive.
That's fine.
Mind with the consistency. I'm thinking more the hair over the turtle, where you pick guys that are gonna potential. They're just game changers for your fantasy team. So in any given week. Single-handedly, they could win it for you. So I'm thinking you go with the best available player, try to get the offensive weapons. Don't be afraid to target, 3 centers. Someone like Spezza, even though you picked already Stamkos, in the second round, don't be afraid to go deep at some of those forward positions.
That's what the norm would be.
Yeah, of course it's the norm. You can get a defensive guy later on. The top out of the top like 50 guys, point scorers. I think 2 of them are defensemen. So you can coming from last year. So I think you can wait on some of those guys. I do think, however, goalie is pretty important.
Goalie is very important.
You want to get one of the premier guys. I'm thinking if you don't get one of the top 3 picks, top 5 picks, I'll give a little bit of depth actually. Top 5 picks, I think
if you wait till the 6th round,
if you got the 6th. Yeah.
If you wait till the 6th round before you pick a goalie,
you might be waiting too long. I mean, you can risk it, but
there's some young guys that are good.
The other thing too, you gotta watch when you draft. Of course, the goalies streak a lot of times.
But that's the problem with what you were saying. Like, if you're ever picking Spezza, you're gonna miss out on some middle of the road goalie that will get you good points, but also be a really good number 2, or a decent number 1 if you're doing your strategy. Where if you're doing my strategy of defensive and goally minded, you would have already picked a goalie.
And
then you can just pick some guy who maybe just gonna play a lot. Maybe pick up a couple of garbage wins here or there,
Yeah, well, there you go. You got some different strategies to work with.
But watch out for Kips Ahoy.
Watch out for Kips Ahoy. They're picking Chara, first.
I'm crazy. I'm crazy, and I know.
I'd call it crazy, but hey, let's go to some positional breakdowns, positional analysis.
Let's do it. Let's talk
about some top guys. We're not going to go too deep into them because, we just don't have the time, and we don't think you have the patience to listen to us.
Yeah, you don't want to hear us that
much.
So
let's talk about some of the top guys at every position.
Yep.
Obviously, we're going to start off with the big names at center. We talked about Malkin, Stamkos, Crosby. What's some of the other guys that you can target? Some big guys that can really carry your team. You need some top point scorers here. I'm liking someone like Eric Stahl.
The vet. He's going to benefit the most from the short season.
He's got, he's not too old yet. He's got a lot of legs left. Kind of a young Carolina team still going around there, and they're rebuilding, so I'm excited for that. Who do you got?
I think a guy like Henrik Sedin is about ready to have a breakout season in his small little span.
A lot of assists, though, for the Sedin sisters, not as many goals. Our brothers.
They're going to be the brothers.
They're promoted this year, as Kip Cooper's predicting.
Kipper.
They usually can't get it done in the playoffs, but maybe a shortened season. You know what? This actually might work best for Vancouver.
Season. I mean, this is what I'm saying.
So
the
maybe
playoffs
you're right.
Don't matter.
Who cares about playoffs anyway for fantasy?
This is fantasy analysis. This isn't league analysis. Henrik Sedin, good center.
Good center. Yeah, definitely. Another couple good guys. Spezza as well. We kind of mentioned. Kopitar, I think that's going to be good. He's coming off of the Los Angeles Kings. They're the champions right now, the Stanley Cups. They possess it, so Kopitar's the kind of the top guy to target on that team.
Do you think that he'll have a lull, though? Do you think he'll
lull? No, they still have, Kopitar. They've got Richards. They've got,
They're good to go.
Quick in the goal.
Let's go to the next. What's the next?
Let's talk about some left wings, though.
All right,
so left wings. This is something that a lot of times you go overmissed.
Yeah.
So, okay, obviously the big name. We haven't even talked about it yet, which is surprising.
Yeah.
Ovechkin. Where do you stand on Ovechkin this year?
He's been playing, reportedly, he's been playing incredible.
He's been playing good overseas. He looks good.
But
the last couple of years has been kind of a lull for, such a tradition. Usually.
He's been on some good, he's good. He plays in a good team. He's
a risk.
He's one-dimensional.
He's one-dimensional. He shoots it.
He shoots
He
the
doesn't
puck.
get a lot of assists, so he only gets goals. And if he doesn't get goals that game, then you're not going to get points.
Plus, he's streaky.
He gets hits, though.
He's streaky.
He's a big guy. He gets hits.
One week
helpful.
he could have 5 goals, and then the next week he could have no goals.
But he's a game changer. So someone, if they're given the opportunity,
he's a
still good.
first-round pick, late-round first-round pick.
Yeah. Scott Hartnell, another one of those guys we said gets a lot of penalty minutes. So that's going to work out good for you.
I'm going Milan Lucic. He is primed. He definitely gets a lot of penalty minutes. He's good at inside when he's grinding in there. He's a really good grinder.
Yeah, Parise too isn't a guy who's been moved,
changed teams.
He's going for the Wild now.
The Minnesota
he's going to be the top
Wild.
scorer now, I think, on that team. Yeah.
I like the Wild.
You like the Wild? I think they have the ugliest uniforms.
They totally do, but
it's like some like ugly Christmas uniform.
It's okay. It's like a Christmas sweater. It makes you feel at home. It's like they're trees.
It is
they're the
home, I guess. They are the Wild. So, but anyway, look for Parise to look good.
Playing for the Wild. And Taylor Hall. Let's see what he's made of this year for Edmonton.
Yeah.
Let's see what he's made of.
If he's got anything.
Picked first a couple of years ago in the draft. Let's see what he's made out of.
So how about let's look at the right wings now.
Wings.
Who do you like for right wings this year, Kipper? Shortened season, so you can take some bets.
Patrick Kane's gonna be very good.
Kane's gonna be. I said earlier, Perry. I think I'd stick with that. That's the top. That should be the top right wing off the board. Should be Corey Perry because he's gonna get the penalty minutes too. Anaheim's a good team. I know Hossa again.
Phil Kessel could benefit very good from this shortened season.
Again with the older season, yeah, I'm thinking a couple older guys, Martin St. Louis and Yager. He got traded.
He could be a sleeper. He could be.
He got picked up by Dallas.
He's playing for the
Dallas Stars.
The Stars.
So you know what? They have a pretty good team out there in Dallas. I'd expect a lot of points, a lot of wins for that team. So expect Yager to at least have a very good plus minus, and the vet in a shortened season. He was good last year.
Yeah.
I expect good things still this year.
And TJ Oshie, he's going to get you some good penalty minutes. He could be picked in like the 3rd or the 4th round.
Yeah.
He's a good name.
You know what? Ryder, too, actually, a guy who will be playing on the Stars, too. I'd like to say someone later on you can pick up he's going to be good. Let's look on the other side
defense.
of the ice.
This is my domain.
Yeah, this is the expertise
the Kipper's domain
for the Kipper.
I love defense in hockey.
For some reason, he loves.
I love
defense.
when people are just like hitting people off the boards.
Oh, that's true. It's fun, and I like the penalty minutes. Like I said, we have a good bonus for them.
Yeah.
A lot of teams do because it's kind of fun. It adds another dimension to the game, the fantasy aspect. So who do you like for defenseman though?
Big time. You got to go with Zdeno Chara.
He's one of the big names out there.
He's gonna I might sound like a broken record, but the shortened
He's
season's
taking him first overall.
The shortened season's gonna benefit him.
I think they have Carlson. That's to me someone you got to kind of watch for.
Yeah,
they strategized against him.
Senators.
He's going to be the top, probably the top player defenseman drafted in a lot of leagues, but kind of to me unproven. He got shut down by the Rangers last year, so I'd be careful on that one.
Yeah, totally.
Shea Weber though,
he's tough, very tough player.
Tough.
Gets good goals.
Gets good goals. They play on a good team.
Scrapes it out when he's down.
And
in the zone,
a very defensive-minded team as well. They're Nashville.
If you're going for straight up defense, he could be good, but I kind of like to go with straight up defenders. So Shea Weber, he might be one that might slip through the Kipper's fingers, but I would like to have him on Kips Ahoy this season.
Well, maybe another guy. Maybe I can get him on the. Yeah, speaking of buzz bombs, hoping to get Drew Doughty. He's a Stanley Cup champion. He came on strong of late, and so I think I'd look for him this year. The Rangers again. Anyone for the Rangers, they're going to have a good plus minus. Another couple guys, PK Subban,
Cromwell.
Oh, of course, you always get Cromwell.
He's a beast. He's a beast out there. The man. We always talk about beast mode. Cromwell, he's a wall of pain.
A wall of pain. He's the equivalent of Marshawn Lynch in the
I would say so.
realm.
He does the beast mode thing. But let's get on to the big
Let's
numbers.
keep it moving. Yeah, we don't want to waste everyone's time
the
here.
Superstars dressed up in the big pads.
The big pads, the fat guys in the net.
They're not all fat. They just look
they're
like
not
they
usually
should.
fat at all.
They just look like
actually.
they should be fat. But let's talk about the goalies.
Let's talk about the top goalies. Last year, top guy was Henrik Lundqvist.
Yep.
So he was number one last year. Another couple good. Ryan Miller. Another guy I like. Cam Ward this year.
Cam Ward.
He's a great goalie.
He's a vet.
And I'm thinking if Carolina has enough young talent, they can, in a short season, really pull some heads. Pekka Rinne. Again, we talked about Nashville.
Rinne.
Being a defensive-minded team, so Shea Weber, Pekka Rinne, those are good guys to target.
I think that he might be a little too high in most people's draft analysis and their mock drafts, but I I have a hard time. Tuukka Rask, I don't know if he might be a little unproven. Tim Thomas just left the league. I need to see what Tuukka Rask can do, so I wouldn't pick him very high. Corey Schneider, he's a great player. Not a lot of people are looking at him, but he gets a lot of good stops. Jimmy Howard, of course, the Red Wings. The Red Wings are always competitive. Jimmy Howard's always going to get a lot of wins, so he's at least good for that.
Yeah.
Jimmy Howard I want him on my team. He's a vet. He's hitting that stride.
There's some names, and the other thing too, you got to kind of watch. There's some up and coming guys. You know, you don't want to be too fast on some of the old guys because they might get kind of taken over. I know it's a shortened season, but for goalies, I mean, well, we got some things to keep our eyes on.
Yeah.
We'll see. Stick with the top guys, and I always say, you know, like we were kind of both thinking.
Martin Brodeur. Martin Brodeur could get you some good wins.
He could get you some good wins. He can also get.
He could not play.
Subbed out. Yeah.
He might not play.
That's why I'm just be careful on it, but we'll see. You know, that's part of the fun of fantasy hockey.
But now that you know who you're going to get for goalies, you know, I mean, always look for a good one. Always look for a defensive-minded team.
That's gonna be the Kipper's advice is for the defensive minded.
Always defense with me. This is the Kipper. A broken record when it comes to the.
So we're gonna be doing our fantasy league on Yahoo.com this year. Yahoo.com Unsportsmanlike Conduct League. We'd like to invite any listeners out there.
Come on,
and join our league. Join the
shy.
Kipper. You got the Kips Ahoy, Buzz Bombs from Buzz Birch. So join us at Yahoo.com. Unsportsmanlike Conduct League. The league ID number 68148. That's 68148. Yeah, this is like a radio commercial. 68148.
68148.
6. 8. Yeah, all right, we're not going to do that anymore.
All right.
That does require a password. It's real easy. It's hockey.
Is that
password
with an E
is
or
hockey.
a Y?
Hockey.
Oh, nice.
Just like that.
Yeah.
How do you like that?
Come play us.
So
try
come
to
play
beat
us.
Me. Come try to beat the Kipper. I don't think you can.
So before we go, though, let's get a couple some predictions, pre-draft predictions. We're gonna do. We've given to you this every week. The stink lines of the week. Let's go for a pre-draft stink line prediction.
Pre-draft stink line.
Overall, maybe a couple guys. That, by the way, the stink lines as a forward, defenseman, and goalie. You got to pick one of each.
They usually do 3 stars. We do
the stink line. This is the stink line. This is the opposite of the 3 stars.
Who's riding in the stink line?
So who do you think for the year? Kind of guys that are gonna let some people down. Maybe guys you shouldn't target on draft day. Who does the Kip Cooper have in the stink line?
I know I'm a defensive-minded person. I love hockey. Dustin Byfuglien. I would not go near him. Winnipeg has had defensive problems. Dustin Byfuglien, he tries too much. He doesn't get enough penalty minutes for the Kipper. If that makes any sense.
It does make sense. That's it's a good aspect of an important aspect of the game.
He doesn't like hitting the boards too hard. I think that Dustin Byfuglien, I would stay away from him. He's a good guy, but I don't want him on my team. Who are we?
For defensemen, in my spot, beware of Karlsson, Erik Karlsson.
Yeah,
One goal over the last 11 games, including the playoffs, because basically you saw in the Rangers the way they beat them is they just shut them down. They targeted, they game planned specifically for that, and if you do that, they let the other options go. And I mean, they lost the games, they lost the series.
Another soft
and he got taken
player.
out. Yeah, he's relying on the goals, and for a defenseman, for a blue liner, you can't be looking for a goal scorer. You got to be looking for someone who's hitting the boards, getting the hits, getting the penalty minutes, getting the assists. Mm-hmm. More importantly, getting the playing time and the plus and minus. So avoid Erik Karlsson. I'm gonna stick with I'll give you my goalie now too.
Yeah, let's hear who your goalie and your stink.
Marc-Andre Fleury.
Andre Fleury.
Yeah, you know what?
Penguins?
He was getting lit up. Absolutely lit up at the end of last year.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's the playoffs, I know, but
it holds over.
That holds over to me.
Especially with goals.
Giving up, I mean, 9 goals, in some of those games. I mean, not him, obviously, all of them, but a couple 4 or 5 goal games. I just don't trust him. So
the goalie that's in my stink line that
Who is
I
it?
would avoid
Get the stink
is
lines coming off
the
of him?
Montreal Canadiens, Carey Price.
Really? You just avoid him?
Which is weird because they are like the same
usually
age.
a solid.
They're both
But
their minds have been shot. Last
certainly
year with the
not,
losing season in Montreal, he's shot.
He's shot. Do you think he's done? They just don't have the wins for it. Maybe
he's gonna have to surprise me, but I would just stay away from him. If you want to get him on your bench, maybe if you're like the last pick, I could see it happening. But I wouldn't target him. I would let him be.
And to complete my Buzz Birch stink line prediction, pre-draft prediction, I'm going with Datsuk.
Your playmaker.
Pavel, but playmaker prediction. Honestly, he's just a guy that kind of starts slow to the season. In a 48-game season, you don't have time for that.
Yeah.
You need the points now, so don't wait on an old guy to get going.
But he's a playoff warrior. I know in real,
unfortunately for
hockey,
fantasy hockey, that doesn't help us, as you pointed out earlier. Who do you have for the forward? Who's to avoid?
Okay, my playmaker that I would avoid, Sidney Crosby. If he plays, he's gonna have half numbers because of Malkin, and he's definitely a risk. He could pan out, but I wouldn't pick him if I had I would wait till the second round. Definitely a great second round player, but first round I would watch out for Sidney
I disagree
Crosby.
with the Kipper. I know we've argued this many times. You know, he's one of the guys. Yeah, one of the 10 guys last year that averaged more than a point per game. Overall, him joining like Malkin,
when he plays,
Stamkos,
he's good, but he doesn't play.
Kovalchuk, Spezza. So yeah, I know what you're saying, but
like
he's
Horton,
healthy now.
Aren't right.
He's healthy now. How do you not pick him if he's there? He's healthy now. I know that you can't. I go with now.
It's just
get
too
the best
risky.
available.
The Kipper is saying it's too risky.
Yeah, the Kipper saying it's too risky.
But hey, it's your call.
It's your call. It's your fantasy team. Come prove us wrong. Join us, like I said, yahoo.com on Sportsmanlike Conduct League 68148. That's 68148. 68148. Password is again hockey. Join the Buzz Bombs. Join Skips Ahoy. Kick our asses and talk smack. Leave us some comments. Let us know how bad we did on these predictions. We know some of them are going to be wrong. And more importantly, thank you for listening.
As always.
This
is Kip Cooper sitting next to me.
Buzz Birch. Thanks for listening. This has been Unsportsmanlike Conduct. Tune in next... when are we doing these? Wednesday?
Yeah, Wednesday.
Next Wednesday. We'll be doing these Wednesdays. They're going to be releasing these, so... Keep with us weekly. This is going to be an ongoing throughout the hockey season, all 48 games. This is your fantasy hockey stop for all things fantasy hockey. Yeah, that's redundant.
Good night now.
Good night.
This has been Unsportsmanlike Conduct. Tune in next week for more hard-hitting coverage of the games you care about.